That's mayonnaise.
Hopefully mustard smell like honey.
Oh, I mean mustard. That's what I mean. I'm sorry.
That food. I'm like, you shot at somebody, bro? But I don't fucking know, cause every day nigga broke a ball. I don't know. I honestly don't know. He ranked 70 million. And he owed him 30 million. He gave Drake 20 million, Nicki Minaj 10 million. He thought he had an understanding that he paid out the 100 million.
Picture this, Young Thug, the so-called Slime King, sitting in a cold interrogation room for hours, puffing on smokes, munching on snacks, and calmly spilling details to the cops like it was nothing.
When I was locked up and Jeff was locked up, we went viral when they was like, that's the type of friend you want. He was like, man, Roscoe ain't told y'all the damn thing.
That's the leaked footage shaking the entire YSL case right now. For months, the streets pointed fingers at Gunna, calling him the snitch. But this video flips everything. It might just expose Thug himself as the one who played the biggest rat role all along. And Gunna isn't holding back either. He's already using this to tear down Thug's image, even dragging his name into whispers of an Atlanta cover-up that nobody thought would ever surface. This ain't some quick chat with detectives either. The footage shows Thug sitting for more than 2 hours, chilling in custody like he had all the time in the world, answering every question like he was in control. Here's where it gets wild. This whole mess didn't even start with the YSL case. Thug first got scooped up on some reckless terroristic threat charge at a shopping mall. Cops told him straight up, "We won't press charges if you talk." And instead of lawyering up or shutting it down, Thug agreed to sit there and run his mouth. He refused to sign paperwork, but still kept on talking, which left everybody questioning his game. But the part that blew minds, Thug looked way too cozy with the police. They were buttering him up, acting like his homies, and he played right into it. He ordered food, got his smokes, even complained about the condiments like he was at a diner instead of locked in an interrogation room. It wasn't the energy of a man under pressure. It was like he was kicking it with friends, not facing cops digging for dirt. Now check this. When the conversation turned to who actually sprayed up that tour bus, Thug got slick with it and backed off fast. He told police straight up, "That wasn't me. I didn't order that. Roscoe was moving solo." Depending on how you look at it, that's either Thug clearing his name with the truth or straight up throwing Roscoe under the bus to dodge a potential hit-for-hire case. Either way, it's messy. And then he dragged Birdman into it. Thug had no problem exposing the bad blood between Birdman and Lil Wayne. He mentioned their fallout, the $30 million Wayne was allegedly owed, and even mocked why Wayne was crying about the money in the first place. That's wild, because at the time, fans were already calling Thug the new Wayne, since Birdman was pushing him as Wayne's replacement in the industry. That shade cuts deep. But the cops weren't just feeding off the drama, they started pressing him about his lyrics too. They wanted to know if his bars were just entertainment or if he was rapping about real-life dirt. Thug played it coy, admitting some lines were exaggerated, but hinting that other bars had real truth behind them. That half answer only made things worse, because now, instead of separating art from confession, his words sound like both, a blurred line that could blow up in court. And the more you listen, the clearer it gets. The cops weren't just making small talk. They were laser-focused, trying to figure out one big thing. Was Thug's music entertainment, or was it a coded diary of crimes? So here's the real question. Who pushed Pee Wee Roscoe to pull that move on Wayne? Who gave the green light for beef to turn into bullets? Thug tried to dodge blame, but the way he spoke still dragged Birdman, YSL, and himself right into the middle of the mess. And now, with the leaked interrogation audio floating online, fans are going crazy, quick to call Thug a snitch. But the truth ain't that simple. Roscoe himself came out swinging in Thug's defense. He said, "Thug is clean as Listerine," making it clear that in his eyes, Thug wasn't snitching at all. According to Roscoe, Thug was just playing by interrogation rules, keeping it straight and trying to protect a close friend who was already under fire. Roscoe swears the audio clip that went viral was chopped up and twisted by someone who didn't bother listening to the whole thing. And Thug? He hopped on social media to fight back against the Rat label. On X, he wrote, "They didn't play my interrogation video in court because I helped my brother, the Ratware." His point? That whole tape wasn't about betrayal. It was about loyalty to someone close. But the internet isn't buying one story. fans and critics are split down the middle. Some see him as a hypocrite, especially after his back and forth with Gunna, who got dragged through the mud for allegedly snitching before. Let's keep it real. This leak shows how dangerous the line really is in the rap game. In a world where loyalty is currency, even trying to keep it honest in an interrogation can be spun into straight-up betrayal. And when you put it in the YSL context, things get darker, because some believe this whole tape isn't just about words. They're saying it ties right back to a major cover-up in Atlanta, and Thug's name is all over it. This is where things get straight up brutal, because Young Thug's case ain't just about rap beef or one random crime. It's about a whole violent pattern tied to YSL. For over a decade, prosecutors claim YSL moved like a street machine, putting in work on hits, pushing heavy product, pulling armed robberies, and even scaring off witnesses, all while hiding behind the clean image of being just a record label. Back in 2022, that massive RICO indictment came crashing down, snatching up 28 people tied to YSL. The charges were stacked to prove this wasn't music business. It was gang business. And Thug? They painted him as a co-founder and the top shot caller, running things from Cleveland Avenue straight across Atlanta. Prosecutors say he pulled young guys into a cycle where crime and rap blended so close you couldn't tell where the bars ended and the streets began. But here's the part that breaks your heart. May 18th, 2024 turned into pure tragedy. A case of mistaken identity left a young mom dead while her 2-year-old baby witnessed the whole nightmare. Prosecutors say Jamal Baker, a YSL member, and 2 others sprayed over 3 dozen bullets into a car they thought held a rival. But there was no rival inside. Instead, it was 21-year-old Naja Sapphire Cox and her child in the back seat. The DA's office described it in chilling detail. The kid was right there the whole time watching his mom bleed out. This young lady had nothing to do with gang life, and she definitely wasn't a criminal. That innocent life was stolen, and it left scars the streets can't erase. And where did this madness trace back to? Police think the spark came from Lil Baby, all because he shot a music video in the wrong neighborhood, setting off beef that spiraled into bloodshed. Baker got slammed hard. Life without parole plus 65 extra years stacked on top, while his co-defendants are still sitting, waiting for their shot in court. And let's be real, this ain't just some headline for clicks. This is a real-life nightmare showing exactly how YSL's street ops ripped families apart and dragged innocent people into the crossfire. But here's the flip side. This whole situation might actually play right into Gunna's hands. For years, the rap world crowned Thug as the OG, while Gunna got clowned as the dude who folded under pressure. But with YSL's violence now under the spotlight, Gunna has a perfect lane to flip the narrative. If he stays clean and keeps proving he had nothing to do with deadly hits, he can present himself as loyal and streetwise, but not reckless. That's powerful positioning. And you already know, in this game, perception is everything. Gunna's camp could spin it smart, using interviews, social media, and even subliminal bars in his songs to show he walked through the chaos without getting blood on his hands. He can turn being close to the fire but untouched into a survival story while leaving Thug painted as the mastermind behind a dangerous empire. Back in late 2022, when Gunna walked into that courtroom, it wasn't just another legal appearance, it was the defining moment of his career. He copped what's called an Alford plea. For anyone who ain't fluent in legal lingo, that basically means I'm not admitting I did it, but I know the evidence could convict me. A classic survival move in the legal game. But here's the kicker, the streets and hip-hop fans don't really care about courtroom nuance. All they heard was Gunna admitting something huge. YSL wasn't just a music label, it was a gang wrapped up in violent crimes from hits to heavy trafficking. That one acknowledgement, simple as it seemed, exploded online and flipped his image forever. That one clip of Gunna saying, "Yes, ma'am," became his scarlet letter. Overnight, it spread like wildfire. Boozy and others blasted him instantly. The internet piled on, and memes flooded every corner of social media. Suddenly, Gunna wasn't just a rapper, he was the face of snitch culture, even though legally, he never pointed a finger at anybody. That one tiny moment stuck to him like glue, haunting his every move online. But here's the reality check. Gunna didn't cut deals with prosecutors, and he never sat in court testifying against YSL members. His Alford plea was pure strategy: cut jail time short, dodge being dragged into messy testimony, and walk out with a shot at saving his career. And guess what? It worked. While Thug stayed behind bars battling harsh conditions, noticeable weight gain, and health struggles, Gunna walked free and got right back to the booth, rebuilding his name. That sharp contrast lit a fire in the culture. Loyalty versus survival, street code versus legal strategy. But here's the crazy part. Gunna wasn't the only one. Multiple YSL members quietly took plea deals or admitted ties to the gang, yet he carried the heaviest backlash. The others faded into the shadows with little public smoke, but Gunna, he became the lightning rod for hate, criticism, and endless debates about loyalty. Fans, media, and rival artists all questioned his character. Why him? Because in hip-hop, the second you acknowledge gang ties, even for legal necessity, people twist it into betrayal. The irony? Thug, the so-called real one, is the one wasting away behind bars, while Gunna, painted as the rat, is out here living, working, and staying focused. The street code doesn't always add up when survival's on the line. The reactions from fans hit like a bomb. Some people praised Gunna as sharp and adaptable, a survivor who made the smartest move in a storm that could have buried anyone, but others dragged him hard, branding him a traitor and refusing to see the strategy behind his courtroom decision. And it wasn't just random fans. The whole hip-hop world started splitting down the middle, shaping how everybody saw him from that point forward. But here's the career twist. That so-called weak plea deal actually gave Gunna a huge leg up. He bounced back into the studio, lined up collabs, and kept his momentum strong. Meanwhile, Thug's path stalled out, locked up, battling health struggles, and drowning in headlines that painted him as the face of YSL's downfall. The contrast was brutal. One artist surviving and thriving, the other stuck in a slow spiral. And for some fans, that flipped the loyalty debate on its head. If Thug was the real one, then why was he the one wasting away while Gunna moved smart through the system and came out intact? That irony hit hard, especially once the leaked interrogation audio of Thug dropped. In that tape, he sounded calm, even relaxed, while casually dropping names, which only made people wonder if the wrong man was being labeled the snitch all along. So now the stories collide. Gunna gets burned for a courtroom admission, while Thug faces heat for sounding way too cozy with cops in an interrogation. The double standard couldn't be clearer. One was vilified for survival, the other picked apart for behavior that looked shady. It just shows how messy the game is when street credibility, loyalty, and legal moves all clash at once. And Gunna's team? They weren't blind to it. Every step since that plea, interviews, posts, even his song lyrics, has been part of a bigger play to control the narrative and push the image that he survived the chaos without selling anyone out. At the end of the day, Gunna played the system sharp. That's a move some fans actually respect, even if others will never let him live it down. It painted him as cautious, calculating, and adaptable. Traits that matter just as much as street cred when you're stuck in the middle of a messy Ryko storm. And that's when Gunna's supporters started flipping the script, pointing the finger right back at Thug. If Thug is supposed to be the real one, why did it take him longer to face the music? Why has he struggled so much behind bars, while Gunna, the one who got out early, is building his career and moving forward? And why is Gunna the one catching endless heat, when others, including Thug himself, didn't take the same public beating? These questions hit hard and the answers aren't easy. But here's the reality. This tension is what keeps the YSL saga alive. Fans argue nonstop, rappers slip references into their bars, and the streets and social media stay buzzing with every new detail that drops. Gunna's infamous "yes ma'am" moment isn't just a clip anymore, it's a symbol. To some, it's survival under pressure. To others, It's betrayal in disguise. But either way, it's become the lens everybody uses to judge loyalty, strategy, and how far you'll go to save yourself in this game. The battle between loyalty and self-preservation ain't clean. It's messy, complicated, and it's shaping the legacy of both Thug and Gunna. And trust me, this story is far from over. So tell me, Wes, where do you stand? Was Gunna smart for playing survival, or does that move stain his name forever? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe, share this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.